Hi, guys. Welcome to Sister Vibes. I'm Tara, and that's my sister Alicia. She's eating a banana. Hey, guys. Welcome to Sister Vibes for Real. I am Tara, and
I'm Alicia.
my sister Alicia. This is our brand new podcast that we decided to start together. So welcome, Sister Vibes. And our podcast mainly is going to be talking about life, lots of laughing going on, obviously, as you can see from our intro, and just talking about how laughter has kind of guided us through life, and also we're going to talk about the Lord because we are Christians and we love Jesus. Um, so yeah, welcome.
Yeah. And we're also going to talk about why we started this.
Yes.
We both had a dream.
Yes,
Remember?
we had a dream.
Yeah.
We had a dream. Yes. About a month ago, I actually had a dream that my sister and I started a podcast together, and I was like, that is so random. Like, I don't even really listen to podcasts unless my husband is making me. So I was like, wow, that is so random. So I had to tell her, obviously. So I messaged her, and I'm like, hey, I had the most random dream that we started a podcast together, and it was funny. And then she's like, are you serious? I had a dream about starting a podcast too.
I've actually had that dream a couple times, more than once.
Yeah. So she's had it a couple times, and I had it, and I'm like, wow, that got to be a sign that we should be doing this. So here we are. We are immatures. We don't know what we're doing, but we're having fun doing it.
Out.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're figuring it out as we go, and it's been a lot of fun, just trying to figure this thing out. So some of you guys may be wondering, why did we name it Sister Vibes? Obviously because we're sisters, right? And
we have vibes.
yes, we have vibes between each other. No, there's just one, one thing about us is that we actually live, well, we used to live about 4 hours apart, but now we live more like, what, 15? Because we just moved to a different state.
16.
Yeah, it's a long time. But no matter how far apart we live, we always seem to be on the same page with one another. We have daughters who are a month apart in age, and without even knowing it, we always end up buying them the same outfits. You know, there's the same clothes. She'll post a picture of her daughter, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I bought that same thing for my daughter. Like, you know, and the same thing for me. She's like, oh, my daughter has that shirt, you know. It's just funny, and we always think similarly. We laugh about the same things. It's just awesome to have that sister connection, and we always say sister vibes anytime we have the same thoughts or laughs or pick out the same outfits for our kids. It's awesome. So, yeah. And why are we doing a podcast together besides the dream that we had?
Oh, to spread hope, to let people know that life can always get better.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. We just both enjoy encouraging others. My sister Alicia, you know, she encourages people through her fitness page and just on the fitness journey that she's been on, and I have been encouraging people through social media as well over the years. Just about spiritual things, life, you know, things like that. And so together, yes, there's just, you know, life's too short to be negative and to, you know, go through it feeling defeated and horrible all the time when you could just smile, you know, and
regardless of what you're going through.
Yeah. And the biggest thing for us that has really gotten us through a lot of things is, besides laughing, is just God, point blank. It's just been God and our faith in Him, and we just want to share that hope with anybody who's listening, who might need that hope. There's always hope. There's always hope for a better tomorrow, no matter what you've been through. And we kind of wanted to start off this podcast series with kind of an introduction of ourselves and you know, how we got to where we are. Because we both obviously grew up together, but we came from a broken family because we're sisters. We grew up in a tough home. I'm laughing about that. Why? I don't know. It wasn't fun.
You said we grew up together. Well, we are sisters.
Yeah, well, siblings don't grow up together,
That's true.
which
That's
is fine. Not, I mean, it's sad, but anyway. So that's kind of where we came from. We experienced physical abuse, like I said, verbal, mental, emotional, just everything, neglect, a lot of things that we faced as kids. But you know what? Like, even though we went through all of that, God always provided for us. Always. Like,
Yep.
we'd get down to the last groceries in the house. We would have nothing, right? And then somebody would come bring us some groceries, whether it was our grandma or aunt, and they didn't stock our pantry or anything, but it got us by until the next time we could get groceries. And like I said, just having each other to lean on and laugh with, like, that really, really got us through. And just having God too, because like we could just see His hand on our life, like through so many situations. And like we would have to talk to you for hours to explain the amount of times that God has saved us and protected us and just got us through. And we're
lifted our spirit.
Yeah.
And also like shielded us from like
a lot of
like
things.
looking back. My goodness.
Things. Yeah. We shouldn't be here. Like, we should not be here. And we're hoping, like I said, through this podcast that we can share some of those stories with you guys. Just give you hope. When you place your faith in Christ, like, He protects. Yes, we still have to walk through hard times sometimes, and life is not going to be like roses at all times, but we can have peace. We can have hope that whatever we face on this earth, that's the worst we're ever going to have it. When we get to heaven, it's going to be perfect. So that is the thing that kind of helps us get through it. So, So God, brought us through just a very traumatic childhood, and He's just brought a lot of healing into our lives through laughing, just the Bible, church, right?
Right. And another thing too is the cycle. Mm-hmm. We broke the cycle.
Yeah, we did.
Of abuse.
Because
our parents were abused. Their parents were abused.
Yep.
Not to the extent we were, though. Right. Ours was a little different, but we broke that cycle. We love our kids. We laugh with our kids. Our kids do not go without. We don't put our children in dangerous situations that could really cause them harm.
Right.
So I thank God for that too, being able to break that cycle so that now our kids can, have kids that can love, and it can just be like an ongoing good.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
I know, healthy, right?
Yes, healthy. Yes, for sure.
I mean, of course, we're not perfect, obviously. I'm not saying that
I don't claim to be perfect.
Yeah, of course. No. It's not about perfection. It's just about loving our kids, loving them, making sure that they are loved, and because kids need that. There are just so many kids these days that don't have that. They don't have it, and that, in my opinion, is just where a lot of kids go wrong. It's like that's the starting point of just troubled childhoods and troubled behavior.
It's all about what's at home. Yeah. But luckily, we went the different way.
Yeah.
We went a good way. We were like saved from that. Like we could have easily
by God.
Yeah, we could have easily picked a different path.
Right. Yeah.
So. Wow. It's like if you sit and think about that, it's pretty like amazing.
It is. It really is.
Cool. That's cool to be saved.
Yeah. God, He's so merciful, and the thing about me, anytime you do come out of abuse, like, you carry baggage with you, it's just part of it. And so a lot of the issues that I have kind of brought from childhood into adulthood, like, when I look back, God's been very patient with me. He's been very patient with me. And it's like, because He knows that a lot of those struggles came from the hard things that we went through, and He's been patient as He has healed. He's brought healing, but He's been patient about it. And I look back at my life 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I'm like, man, I was a mess, I might not have looked like a mess on the outside, but inside I was. I was like super insecure. Just like I said, I lost my voice. I did not have a voice.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
didn't
I know.
because we weren't allowed to talk. We weren't allowed to use our voices as children. We would just like it had to be silent. We just couldn't say anything or laugh or express ourselves. It was just all,
Yeah.
you know.
So a negative thing that you're talking about bringing baggage. My first marriage,
Mhm.
like not having the voice. Yeah, I had a voice like for you maybe
Yeah,
growing up.
right.
Like for myself, I don't know, so go with the flow, even if it was wrong. Like it was
Right.
so easy for me to just do bad things because I was afraid to say no.
Mhm.
Does that make
Yeah.
sense?
Yes.
Um, it's like I knew in my heart, I knew in my mind, I shouldn't be doing this, but just got talked into doing
Right.
things that I knew I shouldn't have been doing. I shouldn't have gotten married.
Yeah.
I know this now, like
Right.
at such a young age. I knew I shouldn't have chosen to stay with him. I knew what I was getting myself into, but not having the voice,
Mhm.
like that actually played a big part in the choices that I made.
Right.
So like it's weird that you brought that up.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like I can look back now and see like, wow,
Yeah.
ah,
Exactly. Yeah,
makes
and
sense.
I think on a spiritual note, like that is what Satan wants to do to every Christian, silence
Oh
you.
yeah.
He
Oh
wants to take
yeah.
your voice, whether it's through mistakes you've made or struggles that you're going through. What his
Or
greatest
struggles you've been
goal,
through. Yeah.
yeah, is to silence you so that you don't share the hope that you have. And like as we have been preparing to do this podcast, literally every time, ask Alicia,
Everything.
my voice gets messed up. Like
Yeah.
we're facing so many like
And
obstacles doing
technical
this.
difficulties.
Yes,
Like we
we've been.
it shouldn't be this hard.
I know, right? I know, but it's okay. We're gonna persevere, right?
Yep.
We're gonna do it anyway. But yeah. So welcome to our podcast. um, this is kind of just it's exciting to do this with you, and I'm
I
just
did
looking
too.
forward to how God's gonna use it. And I think too, a lot of times healing comes through sharing.
Mhm.
So
That's one
like
thing I don't do a lot of is
yeah.
share like just because it's not that I don't know. I it's hard to explain. I don't want to bring up the past.
Mhm.
Not that it because it bothers me or that I get so affected when talking about it. It's just I'd rather focus on. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the
The
present.
present and the positivity of like the future,
Yeah.
but talking about the past like is
It's
healing.
yeah, it is. It is.
It's
And
healing.
I was just thinking about the story of Joseph in the Bible, that one in the Old Testament, not Mary and Joseph, but Joseph and the coat of many colors. Most of us have probably heard that story in children's church. If not, that story is found in Genesis. Um, I'm not sure what chapter it starts off on, but basically, if you haven't heard the story, Joseph had, I think, 11 brothers. Do you remember how many brothers he had? Um, I don't remember. I'm horrible. Anyway, he had a lot of brothers, and he was like a chosen special child because he was, born to his dad and Rachel. His dad was it Jacob? Gosh, how am I? I know this story. Like the details are just let's see. Yeah, Jacob. Jacob's 12 sons. Okay, Jacob had 12 sons. One of them was Joseph. The special thing about Joseph was he was born to one of Jacob's wives, Rachel, who was barren. She couldn't have kids.
Mhm.
But when she was old and Jacob was old, he opened up Rachel's womb and allowed her to have a son. And the first son was Joseph, and the second son was Benjamin. So Jacob had 12 sons. Joseph was a special son because like God spoke to him through dreams. I don't know. Do you remember this? Have you ever seen Joseph, King of Dreams, like on Netflix?
No.
It's kind of like the Prince of Egypt, but it's the Joseph
Okay.
story. It's actually pretty
It's
good.
reminding me of the Prince of Egypt. So
Yeah,
I'm like thinking of
there is a movie. It's good. We watch it sometimes. It's a really good movie. But anyway, Joseph, his brothers were all jealous of him because Joseph was like the chosen one. He didn't have to go do all the hard labor that his brothers had to do because his mom was different, and they basically trained him in how to read and write Egyptian and stuff like that because God had a different path for him. So anyway, the brothers were all jealous, and so they ended up selling him into slavery. Do you remember this?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they sold him into slavery, and in his time of slavery, like he went through a lot of hardships. Like he had to do hard labor, which he never had to do before. But God gave him favor through that whole time. And then when he was like 40 years old, I think he was 40, he became like the second in command of all of Egypt. Like God had given him favor, even though the things he was going through, he was put in prison. He had a lot of hard things that happened to him, but during those things, he honored God and he obeyed, the people who were above him, like the masters and stuff. And eventually God, put him into a place of leadership, right? So then, however many years goes by, years and years and years, and then he had those dreams in prison, remember? Because Pharaoh had dreams. Sorry. Pharaoh had dreams and no one could explain it. And so they brought Joseph in and he was able to interpret the dreams for Pharaoh, right? And that's how he became second in command. So the dreams were talking about how there's going to be a famine in the land, and for 7 years there would be a famine. And so Joseph was able to, come up with a plan to help save Egypt, right, from death and people starving. And so during that famine, Joseph's brothers actually come over to Egypt to buy food because there's no food in where they're from. And so that whole time, Joseph, wasn't even thinking about his past at all. He was like living in the future, living, where God had him. But here comes his brothers in line waiting to buy food. And it just brings back all of those memories for him. It's like it punches him in the face, like, oh, here's my brothers. Like, I haven't seen them this long. And all that pain came back, right? So he had to revisit his past in order to heal from it and to forgive his brother. It's a very interesting story if y'all want to look it up. It's in Genesis. The story of Joseph is in Genesis like 36 through 50, basically his story, if y'all ever want to look it up. But his encounter with his brothers is very, very fascinating. Like there are many times where he has to physically go out of the room so he can cry. He doesn't want his brothers to see him crying. So he had to relive a lot of the past, in order to get healing. So like when I say it's very healing to share the things that you've been through with somebody. Of course, somebody you trust. You don't want to go putting it out there to people who are going to use it against you,
Which I've done.
Yeah. And I think
that's another fear of mine.
Mistake. I think we've all had, times where we've shared with people we shouldn't share with because we don't know that they're going to use it against us. But anyway, like I said, there's just a lot of healing and sharing. And Joseph's story really resonates with me a lot because, like I said, we've been through so much, but God, like I said, he has been with us the entire time and just he's blessed us and, he's gotten through it. And actually, one of the verses I was going to share today for everybody was Genesis 50:20, where, Joseph's brothers came to him and they were like apologetic. They're like, we are so sorry. We've done evil against you. Can you ever forgive us? And he's like, I've already forgiven you. And he says in Genesis 50:20, it says, you meant evil against me, but God meant it for good in order to bring it about as it is this day to save many people alive. So what his brothers planned as evil against him, God used it for good. And that is my life verse is Romans 8:28, and it says all things work together for good to those who love God, to those who are called according to his purposes. Like no matter what we go through, like it has to go through God's hands first, number one. And number two, God always, always, always will work it for our good. And that I have seen in my own life, like here we are sharing, our childhood issues that we had. God's using it for good. And we're hoping and praying that God will use this to bring healing to somebody else. And just to encourage you, if anything else, whatever you're going through, if you, turn that over to God and pray and ask him to help you, like he can work it for your good and he will. He wants to.
And you have to trust in him. You have to trust. You
Yes.
have to have faith.
Yes.
You cannot question it. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart. You have to do this. You have to.
Yeah.
That's how it works. Like,
Right.
I think that's where a lot of people go wrong,
Yeah.
is they forget to just have that faith.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Childlike
Trust.
faith.
Just childlike faith. Just, he tells us to do that, so just do it.
Right.
Have that faith. I have so much faith and I have so much trust in him. And that's how I'm able to smile and laugh after all we've been through. Like, I know we're going to be okay no matter what. Everything's going to work out the way it's supposed to, no matter what. So,
because God is good and he works things for our good, and like you said in Proverbs 3, 5, and 6, when it says not to lean on your own understanding, like in our brains, like we're not going to understand why God is allowing things, what he's doing. Like it's hard to understand sometimes. And the thing is, like, we're not always meant to understand.
No.
We're just meant to
so
have
don't
faith.
question it. Don't drive yourself crazy trying to understand. And a lot of people do that. And I don't. I'm like, whatever.
Yeah. And that's
I feel like people don't like me because of that sometimes, because I have that whatever mentality.
You have, I think probably one of your biggest spiritual gifts is probably faith, because that's very strong in you. Like you just have faith, it's going to work out.
I know.
I
do.
have a strong.
Sometimes it takes a long time. You know what I'm saying? Like just what I've gone through, but I always know.
That's just a strong gift in you. I think is just to know I'm at peace with it. He's gonna work it out. He has to, or it's not gonna be worked out. And
I feel so blessed to be able to have that peace too, because
it's awesome. Because I sometimes, even though he has proven himself to me a million times that he loves me, that he's going to provide, like sometimes our, natural tendency is to just question it and doubt it.
We're human. It's a human thing. Yeah.
So, but we don't have to, because he's God. He never changes. It doesn't matter
God is in control. You remember that song?
Yes, I do. It's so funny. That makes me think of those commercials that had the CD, like the Wow hits from 1999.
Oh, yeah.
Like there was always commercials, and like that is the one clip of that song that we heard a million times. God is in control. It's just funny thinking about this song. And then my Redeemer lives. That's back in it. Anyway, but yes, so that's really encouraging. Just to remember, guys, have faith. God is going to bring us through. Like he proves it over and over in his word. And if we will give him a chance, he'll prove it in our lives. Like Alicia said, trust him. Give him the chance. Like he says it in his word, test me, try me, see if I won't come through for you, but we have to go to him, number one, lay it at his feet and let him come through for us. Sometimes we get impatient, and we try to take matters into our own hands and work it out in our own strength. But sometimes we're just not strong enough, and that's the thing about our childhood. We weren't strong enough to overcome the things that were kind of dealt to us, but God was, and he did. He overcame it for us on our behalf, and he wants to do that for everybody listening, because he loves you. If you don't hear anything else that we tell you today, just know that God loves you so much. He has a plan for your life. He has a purpose for you. Every single one of you. He has a purpose for you. It doesn't matter what your background is, what mistakes you've made, the choices that you've made, things that have been done to you. Like, it doesn't matter what those things are. He still loves you. He still wants to use you. He still has a great purpose for you.
And you're always worthy of his love.
Yes.
That's one thing I've been like, you're always worthy of his love.
Yeah. And I think that's another thing that we struggle with too, as humans.
I do. Because I feel like I make so many mistakes, and you know what I'm saying?
So gracious.
It just makes me like, ooh.
I know,
he
right?
Still loves me.
Yeah, for me, it's like I'm so insecure most of the time. I'm like, I can't do that. Oh, you want me to do that? I can't do that. Like, look at me. I can't talk. I can't do this. don't you know like who you're talking to? And he's like, yeah, I made you. Like, I know you. I know you. You know, I know who you are. And he loves us anyway, always, you know. And that's very
So I
humbling.
have a question. I have a question real quick.
Yeah.
So like when you're talking, do you think of songs when
Yeah.
you say certain words or if I'm saying certain
Oh
words?
yeah,
Like
always.
I keep thinking of songs. Like when you said overcome, I'm like, you're an overcomer.
Yes. Yes, I do.
Oh,
Way too
goodness.
much. That's what I do. That's what we do. We quote songs
Well, I
around
do
here.
it too. All kinds of songs too.
Yeah. There's
Like,
a lot of good Christian music out there, guys. Here's our
oh
plug
yeah.
for that. Go listen to some Christian music. I know a lot
Yeah.
of times people will say, "Oh, it's not cool" or whatever, but man, it's cool. There's a lot of cool stuff
It
out
is cool. A
there. A
lot
lot
of
of
uplifting, upbeat,
yeah,
good messages.
yeah.
Like
And you know how many
message.
I can't tell you how many times like a song has come on that I've needed. Like I've needed that
Oh
message
yeah.
and I'm like crying and I'm like singing and
Yep.
crying and I'm sure people around me in the cars around me are like, what's wrong with her? And I'm like, I just love Jesus, you know. Thank you, God, you know. But it's just
Yeah.
amazing. Like music is something that we have been
Healing.
like
It's
made. It's part of us. A part of us,
it's
you know?
a medicine too.
Yeah.
Music is a medicine. Laughter is a medicine. I
Yeah.
really praying is a medicine.
Yeah.
So
Yup.
I think it will all help you
Yes.
in life.
Yeah. Yep. Yes, definitely. 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 What you put in is what's going to come out. So if we are putting in good, positive, you know, godly messages, guess what's going to come out? What?
If you put in poop, guess what's gonna come out?
Oh yeah, yeah. So we need to guard ourselves and guard what we're allowing in because it's gonna come out. If we're negative, negative, bad, bad, like that's gonna come out. It just does. So
You are what you eat.
and on that note, we're gonna wrap this up and Alicia here is gonna leave a little fit tip for you. So she's, you know, doing
Fit
a lot
tip.
of good
What are we
exercise
doing this of the
and fit.
week or how are we gonna do this?
This
Like
is
fitness?
our sorry guys, bear
Should
with me.
I say just fit tip of the day?
Yeah,
I could say day.
say tip. You don't have to say what it is.
Fit tip.
Yeah.
This is my fit tip.
Fit tip. Fit tip.
You want to be fit? Drink water.
Yes. Lots of water.
Drink lots of water. Quit drinking sugary drinks. No more Coke, no more soda. Soda is killer. Soda will kill you. I mean, here and there, but it becomes addicting if you drink it here and there. And that's where they get you is that sugar takes hold of you. And yeah.
True.
So sugar, all that sugar, all those sugary drinks are no bueno. Even fruit juices aren't that great for you. I mean, a little bit here and there, but water is important. We are made of lots of water, so we should be drinking lots of water, right?
And what are some of the benefits of water to your body? Besides,
You get hydrated.
well, it's good for
It
your skin,
hydrates you.
right? It's good for your
It's
skin,
good for every part of
your
your body.
muscles, right?
It's
If
good
you're
for your
working out.
organs. It is
Yeah.
incredibly good for your muscles. It helps you grow.
Yeah.
Um, it helps with your hair, your nails, your skin, your acne. It will help you get rid of acne. Drink more water.
Yes, guys.
And
Agua.
look at this. Look, I have like a pimple right here.
Oh,
It
I'm
helps with
like leaning
acne.
forward to the screen. Where?
I'm sitting here eating candy.
But
Drink
drink
more
water.
water.
As long as you're drinking water with it, it's fine, right? You heard it from
You
Alicia here.
flush it out. You
Yeah.
flush out all the bad stuff.
Yeah, it's gonna make you have to go to the bathroom more often, but it's worth it.
It is.
Yeah.
Being hydrated is very important.
Yeah,
So,
and that is something too. It's very healing. Like
mhm.
for my, you know, I'm recovering still from my surgery that I just had 6 weeks ago, and I think the thing that has helped me really, you know, heal a lot quicker is just drinking lots and lots of water.
Yep.
So that would be my good tip. Good tip. Good tip.
Until next time.
And it's okay that she's eating candy because if you guys remember, she started the episode off with a banana, and that's healthy.
Yeah.
So it balances out. It
cancels it out. Yeah. And it's also Halloween. So
yes, there's lots of candy floating around everywhere.
Day of candy.
Yes.
So,
yes. Yeah. Anyway, well, we're gonna
wrap it up. The truth though of why I'm eating the candy.
Why?
I'm about to start my period. And I'm like craving the chocolate.
Chocolate. You know what's weird? I'm not ever gonna have a period again, but I still crave it.
Really?
Yeah. It's great though. I love chocolate without the period. Anyway,
sure. I'm good. I want a hysterectomy.
Well, I mean, it's helped me a lot. So I mean,
I get one too.
Sister vibes. No.
I'm gonna schedule an appointment today.
Yeah. Funny thing about that before we close, I was telling the girls, or my oldest and my husband, before I had it, because it's weird, right? Okay, if you ever have to deal with this, there's like a grief that comes with it, which is odd. Like because it's just part of you is going to be gone, and I mean, I've taken it pretty well, but there was a moment where I was like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, like 6 less organs, after this, because they took all of it. It was all.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when you count the ovaries, the tubes, because those are all like separate things. So anyway, and I was just thinking how funny it is, like, when I get to heaven, I'm going to be reunited with my organs that I've lost. So I'm going to have my gallbladder.
That's so good.
I know. I'm going to be whole again in heaven. Like, I'm going to have all my organs back that I've lost. I've also lost the gallbladder. Yeah. And so I'm like, that's going to be so great. I'm going to be whole again, But I said it jokingly, but it's true, right? Like, when we get to heaven, our bodies will be perfect. And if you've lost an organ, guys, just know when you go to heaven, you're going to be reunited with that organ, okay? So
are you going to recognize it when you see it?
I don't know. Well, it's going to be inside of me, so I don't know. I'm just going to know. I'm just going to feel it. It's going to be like, it's there. It's there. Oh, yeah. Welcome home. Welcome home. No, I'm kidding. Anyway, yeah. So anyway, funny thought. Sorry, that was random, but
that's funny.
But I'm thankful God, healing hand. He's given us laughter, right, to laugh about this. So.
Look how sweaty my.
Oh, are you nervous? Anyway, well, this has been so much fun. It's been great. Welcome again to everybody who's listening. This is our introductory podcast, and we're going to be doing this from regularly. We don't know how regularly yet, but we're excited. We're hoping, as we grow and continue to do this, God's going to continue to speak through us, and we're just here to have fun. Like, it's so much fun to do this and laugh. And like, I don't laugh with anybody like I do my sister, because I
don't either.
So
it's like that special laughter where you cry.
Yeah. Before we even did this, we're over here like wiping our mascara because we're like laughing so hard that we're crying. It's fun though. But anyway, we hope that you all have a wonderful day. Thank you for listening. We look forward to getting back at it again here shortly. But in the meantime, my encouragement for today is just remember that no matter what you're walking through, just know that God can use it for your good, in His glory, as we take whatever we're going through and bring it to Him and trust Him. And what is your encouragement for the day for all of our listeners and watchers?
Positive vibes only. Stay positive. Smile regularly. And drink water.
Drink water. Lots of water. But make sure there's a bathroom near, if you have to drink a lot of water. So anyway, well, thank you for joining us. We're thankful to have you. And I guess until next time, we will see you. Bye. Sister, bye.
Bye. Bye.